Welcome back for another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I'm your host, Matt Tardio. Last night, Israel conducted a massive bombing campaign over inside of Tehran. Check this out.
In response to months of continuous attacks from the regime in Iran against the state of Israel, right now, the Israel Defense Forces is conducting precise strikes on military targets in Iran. The regime in Iran and its proxies in the region have been relentlessly attacking Israel since October 7th on 7 fronts, including direct attacks from Iranian soil. Like every other sovereign country in the world, the state of Israel has the right and the duty to respond. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are fully mobilized. We will do whatever necessary to defend the state of Israel and the people of Israel.
Now, that is the statement that ended up coming out from the Israeli Defense Force. However, at the same time that was being announced, and at the same time, all of the videos that I'm about to show you of the bombings and the fires and the destruction and aftermath were happening, Iran issued their own statement, and I'm just going to have to read it to you. It says, and I quote, "Any sending pictures or news to media outlets that are hostile and linked to the Zionist entity is considered a crime and in accordance with Articles 6 and 8 of the Law of Combating Hostilities of the Zionist Entity Against Peace and Security, as well as Articles 508 of the Islamic Penal Code." And it continues on, basically threatening anybody in Iran that is going to be sharing any videos of the aftermath or of the strikes themselves. So with that being said, it would appear that there is limited videos coming out, but don't worry, I have some. Now, allegedly, this video is of an F-15 flying over Iran last night. Now, I found that video really interesting within myself because it is being said that some of the, a lot of the attacks were basically being done by cruise missiles. That's the only video of any aircraft over top of Iran I could find. Now, what targets did Israel actually go after? Well, it appears they went after over 20 military installations and targeted S-300s and S-400s, along with, it looks like a couple different oil refineries. Now, this first S-300 site is actually really interesting. As you can see here, like the location of where it's at. Now, this video that actually they ended up getting the still image from, I believe this is also right near one of the burial sites of a previous supreme leader of Iran. So not only did they strike an S-300 site, but it's also over, allegedly next to one of the supreme leaders' previous ones, burial sites over inside of Iran. This next video is from the town of Khojar, up near the capital of Tehran. So not only can you hear a couple things like exploding in the background there, but you also have smoke that's rising off the horizon here in this video. It might be a little bit hard for you to see at home, but there's smoke rising off the horizon. And yeah, I mean, it's just, you can hear aircraft ripping through the background as well. So it sounds like fast movers, but Iran allegedly mobilized their entire air force to go over and combat this threat. Just didn't do them any good. This next one that I have for you is coming out of Tehran as well. Not quite sure what the intended target here, but it looks like, again, Courage. Now, I want to warn you guys that there is a lot of misinformation that's right now going around about this strike. So it could be even that some of these videos that I have on your screen, I have been fooled. Just be careful with it. I did see reports that different news agencies were putting out videos of how do I want to say this, of previous attacks that Israel has done over inside of Beirut and a couple other places. So those are floating around. But what we do know is that they went after, again, 20 military installations, S-300s, S-400s, which would be your aerial defense assets that were supplied to Iran by Russia. And then they also went after what appears to be at least one oil refinery that I was able to find. Additionally, it also looks like Israel went after ballistic missile sites or ballistic missile production facilities over inside of Iran as well. So this strike itself, it looked like, was aimed directly at the threat that was presented to it just last month, where you had all of those ballistic missiles that were shot at them. So they went over, they're taking out ballistic missiles, they're taking out military bases, and they're taking out air defense assets, essentially rendering Iran useless. So if they choose to retaliate this time, Israel is going to unleash unholy hell in the follow-up retaliatory strike. Now, this video is of more aerial defense assets that were being shot over top of Iran. Now, what's crazy to me about these videos is of all the aerial defense ones, it doesn't look like we have any launches from S-3 and or S-400s. And it's important to understand why that's such a huge blow, not just to Iran, but also to Russia, because the S-400 is their most advanced aerial defense system that they have. And we've always wondered how it would fare against the F-35, which of course Israel employs. And it would seem like the F-35 does a pretty dang good job against the S-400. Again, not a fancy video, but it does show that you can hear fast movers going over top of Tehran. Reportedly, allegedly, remember that the only statement so far that I've actually heard come out of Iran was the one warning the citizens not to, share anything on social media. So pretty scary for them. Numerous agencies are reporting that 20 strategic military sites in Iran were schwacked by Israel, and they're all calling it a very minor deal. I don't agree with that statement. I think it is a very big deal that not only was Israel able to successfully strike these 20 different sites, but also that they were able to take out 3 S-300 and S-400 systems across Iran. Again, all of this is unconfirmed at this time. And that essentially would render, Iranian counterattack useless. And if they did counterattack, that they know it's coming. Like, this was beyond sending a message. This is allegedly an oil refinery somewhere in the vicinity of Isfahan. Now, why would they want to do that? Because Isfahan's also home to a huge nuclear site where they are refining uranium and things of that nature. And if they took out an oil refinery over there, it's sending a message that, hey, we can reach out and we can touch you.
الآن صور الانفجارات داخل مطار أصفهان أو في محيط مطار أصفهان، انفجارات قوية إذن تهز مطار أصفهان، ونستمع إلى هذا الصوت الطبيعي لهذا الانفجار.
Now, Israel ended up closing off their night after controlling the skies over Iran for several hours with this statement right here.
I can now confirm that we have concluded the Israeli response to Iran's attack against Israel. We conducted targeted and precise strikes on military targets in Iran, thwarting immediate threats to the state of Israel. The Israel Defense Forces has fulfilled its mission. If the regime in Iran were to make the mistake of beginning a new round of escalation, we will be obligated to respond. Our message is clear. All those who threaten the state of Israel and seek to drag the region into wider escalation will pay a heavy price. We demonstrated today that we have both the capability and the resolve to act decisively, and we are prepared on offense and defense to defend the state of Israel and the people of Israel.
So it is of my opinion that Israel did bomb Iran last night, despite the amount of information that's actually getting out about it. And we know that it's going to be very slow and hard to get intel because Iran basically threatened all of its citizens. That's what I'm being told. That message that I read to you earlier came from a military back channel that's processing all of the intelligence that comes from over there. Additionally, we end up having, lots of different types of targets that ended up getting taken out between the S-300s and the S-400s. We also have military sites, and it looks like oil refineries. It said that all of, essentially Western Iran was pretty much a target where they were dropping these. It's going to take a while to get this intelligence out there, but one dang thing's for sure is Iran is actually being quiet. Normally we get a lot of rhetoric from them, and I haven't heard any rhetoric. I went over and I checked the Ayatollah's site, which normally he would have something to say at this point, but he hasn't. So I'm really curious to see what they decide to do here in the future, and that's really going to determine the escalation. Over inside of Lebanon, Israel hasn't changed one bit. I mean, they're still doing what it is they do. They blew up over a 1 kilometer long tunnel shaft this morning. So kudos to them. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, peace, love, happiness, and God bless. I am out of here. If need be, I will be able to go live tonight and live tomorrow. I apologize for not being able to do it last night. I'll catch you guys later.